Welcome to Glenora, North America's first single malt whiskey distillery. Located in beautiful Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, Canada, this is the home of Glen Breton Rare single malt whiskey. Glenora Distillery stands among some amazing scenery, but its location wasn't just picked for the beauty, but for the water. The Collins Brook is the cleanest and purest water in Cape Breton. Naturally filtered by the Highlands themselves, it runs straight through the heart of the distillery, and it's in every bottle of Glen Breton whiskey we produce. Every barrel of Glen Breton whiskey is aged here at the distillery in an open floor warehouse. This exposure to the environment from the ground up allows everything in this glen to influence and shape the whiskey and its flavor. In the fall, when it starts to cool down, the whiskey starts to shrink in that barrel and draws in the air from the glen and all the flavors that's in it. Maple, floral, and apple. In the spring, when it starts to warm up, it starts to expand and goes into that oak and starts taking flavors from that wood. We have vanilla and toffee and nuts. This is where the magic happens. Surrounding the distillery are fields flush with flowers. In the hills above the glen are trees, a lot of trees. Apple, maple, pine are abundant throughout this whole area. Their natural aromas get concentrated in the air of the glen and make their way into the aging, slumbering whiskey. This is, in essence, the terroir of Glen Breton. Over 35 years ago, Bruce Jardine had a vision to bring the Scottish way of making whiskey to New Scotland. Not just anywhere in Nova Scotia, but Cape Breton, where Gaelic is sung, Highland games are played, and a tartan flows. He wanted to find a place that looked and felt like the Scottish Highlands, with a pure source of water and stills that held the character of Scotch whiskey. So, in a quiet glen next to the Collins Brook and using stills sourced from Belmore, the Glenora Distillery was born. First spirit was collected from the stills in 1990, and just 20 barrels were filled that season. Bruce had no intention of releasing this whiskey until it rested for 10 years, and like many other new distilleries, produced a short list of other liqueurs to pass the time. But the reality of waiting is a costly thing, and like so many other new businesses, time took an exciseman's toll. Luckily, others saw the beauty and bounty of what Glenora would become, and in 1994, the torch was passed to the owners we have today. The distillery is not just to be a sipper's destination, but a beautiful place to stay, eat, and of course drink. Growing pains are abundant in any new business, and Glenora was no exception. With the years came experience with the mash, the stills, and the casks. They had the insight to ask for guidance from the source itself, and with input from the master distillers at Belmore, the spirit really began to flow and shine. In the year 2000, the first single malt whiskey from Glenora was bottled and released. The Glen Breton 8-year-old was an instant collector's item, although it was 2 years shy of age from what Bruce Jardine had envisioned. Unfortunately, Bruce had passed just 1 year earlier and didn't get to see the culmination of his dream. Now, with a clear stride, Glenora was gaining momentum in the industry. New releases came as each distilling season passed. Markets opened across Canada and the world. They even caught the attention of the Scotch Whisky Association, who brought action against them for using the word Glen. There may or may not have been a cask or two of whiskey sent as reimbursement for legal fees to fight this. But in the end, the small distillery from Glenville, Nova Scotia prevailed, and a special 15-year-old called the Battle of the Glen was released to celebrate. Glenora has evolved to become not just a distillery, but a destination, and has repeatedly been enlisted as one of the top 10 places to visit in Cape Breton, in Nova Scotia, and even in Canada. Its geographic beauty is mirrored in the food, the people, and of course the amber spirit itself.